Ride or die, remember?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Damsels in Debate podcast. I'm your host, Tina, and this is going to be one of our shorter Dorks in Debate episodes, and it's just going to be me by myself, flying solo yet again. Recently, I have rewatched an entire series of movies over a few weeks. I didn't watch them all in one day, and thought, why not review this as a whole as a Dorks episode? So here I am. I would like to keep this up because it's fun to watch a whole series, one right after another, because you can, you really can tell and you can really appreciate all the little callbacks and tie-ins and foreshadowing and, all that good shit. So I don't know how often I'll get these done, but when I do, you'll know because I'll record another episode. If for some reason you haven't read the title of this episode, I'm going to be discussing the Fast and Furious series. I guess in a way it's a slight bit dumb to pick this series because, as we all know, it's not finished. There's another one coming out in 2015, which actually fits right into their one film every 2 years schedule. But this is Universal's biggest franchise of all time, and there's already been 6 movies and lots of character introductions and plot developments and car chases. So I think we're okay to go. I think I can review this and be all right. The first film came out in 2001 when I was a wee little junior in high school with a total movie star crush on Vin Diesel. And then the last one, the 6th movie, was released last year. And so, yeah, what is that? That's over a decade of movies. Jeez. If any of you guys listened to our Furious 6 review from last May, you'll know that I love this series. I am well aware that they are not realistic movies. And, they've got their fair share of cheesiness and quite a few over-the-top action moments. Runway scene. What? Well, yeah. But anyway, I'm still enthralled. First and foremost, I love the action scenes. Most of them involve cars. And I'm not really actually all that into cars, but I can appreciate the pretty ones and, the cool moves they do, but whatever. And I also love the whole family aspect of the film. You've got all these characters, all these like multicultural characters coming from all these different ethnic backgrounds and different locations to help each other out and to get rich and putting their lives on the line for each other. And some of them fall in love and some develop long-lasting friendships and all that sappy shit. I just eat it up. I love it. So yes, I am a fan. So going in, there you go. I also want to say that because this is a movie marathon, I'm going to be talking about each one of these movies. And so I'm going to be giving spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies 1 through 6, then you might want to hold off because I don't want to reveal anything. I'd rather you watch it and then listen to my podcast. So just so you know that going forward. Now, would it be all right for me to say that this series has gotten better with each installment? For the most part, I would say yes. They definitely have changed. They started out, from a street racing version of Point Break, kind of into these very epically scaled Ocean's 11-y heist movies. And, some people don't dig that, but I'm down. I like it. I'm happy with the way the series has progressed and, where the characters have gone. And who'd have thunk it? Back in the day that I would actually be extremely excited to see the seventh movie in a series that is non-Harry Potter and non-Star Wars. I guess you could say James Bond too, because there's a million James Bond movies, but I'm not really into those. Or Jason. Jason's another one that has a million movies. But yeah, really, did you guys see the ending to Furious 6? God, I'm so psyched. But I know everything is really up in the air, and who the hell knows what the 7th movie is going to turn into now, due to Paul Walker's untimely demise. But hey, I am still going opening night. So, all that, getting all that stuff out of the way, I wanted to rank the movies for you guys. And, I'd love to know what your ranks are. But this is my ranking, Tina's ranking of the Fast and Furious movies from worst to best. Okay, so let's see. Number 6 for me is The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And all right, yeah, you probably knew this was my least favorite, but did you know why? No, didn't think so. Well, let's see. First off, this movie doesn't have Brian O'Connor or Dominic Toretto in it. All right, well, okay, Dominic Toretto is in it, but he's got only that 2-second cameo at the very end, so that doesn't count as far as I'm concerned. It is where we first meet Han, who I really like, but I pretty much don't give a shit about anyone else, especially the lead character, Sean. Oh, God, the 30-year-old high school student with the accent. And I know I'm coming off a bit horribly here, but this dude, I can't. He needs to never be the lead in a movie. Keep it to supporting roles. And I've heard, actually, that he's going to be in movie number 7. I think the actor's name is Lucas Black. But yeah, I heard he's going to be in the 7th movie. So continuity-wise, that's good. But I wasn't jumping up and down when I heard that bit of casting info. And I will say that it is interesting to rewatch this movie after seeing Furious 6. Because, you see how aloof Han is. And now it's because he lost Giselle. Oh. And it's also cool because you can try to put together any possible story ideas or things they might bring up in this 7th movie that's coming out next year. So who knows? But anyway, moving on. Number 5 is Too Fast, Too Furious. Did you know that this movie is directed by John Singleton? I had no idea. Or if I did, I totally forgot. Like, that was really weird. I read that on IMDb. But this one does have some cool action scenes. Not going to lie. It's pretty fun. I particularly enjoyed the car crash landing onto the yacht at the end of the movie. And it's got Bobby from Sons in it. I mean, hello. But, I mean, at the same time, whatever. It's got Brian and his mean boss from the first movie. But those are the only 2 carryovers. There's no Dom and there's no Mia. We do, however, have a totally cranked to 11 Roman. And oh my God, was he not crazy annoying in this movie? Thank God in the subsequent ones they dialed him back because he was just way too loud and too aggravating. He detracted from the movie a bit for me. They just amped him up a lot. And now thinking about it, since they're bringing stuff back from Tokyo Drift, this movie, they could have Cole Hauser's villain get out of jail because, he doesn't die at the end. He just goes to jail. But they could have him get out and seek revenge on Roman and Brian since they're the ones that sent him to jail. Well, now that I said that out loud, it sounds kind of stupid. So never mind. They should just probably leave him in jail and move on. But yes, moving on. Okay. Number 4 on my list is actually the 4th film, Fast and Furious. No thes in this one. This is the one where Letty dies. We're led to believe that Letty dies in this movie. It's also the first one directed by Justin Lin that stars the main group of characters because his first Fast and Furious movie was Tokyo Drift. And I would definitely say it's also the most somber film of all the series. We get it's a little confusing in the very beginning, like about timelines because Han is in the beginning of it. And I mean, we all know he got his ass blown up in Tokyo Drift. But, I personally had kind of written the series off after the second movie. Tokyo Drift looked like it just did like a cash grab, like they were milking the title Fast and Furious and just attached it to some shitty race car movie with a bunch of characters I don't care about. So I was pretty excited when this one came out, because we got our main crew back. The film is good. It gets everybody back together, and I really enjoyed the racing through the claustrophobic tunnels there. I would totally be dead, like, right away. Wouldn't make it out of those tunnels. We also meet Giselle for the first time. And we get Laz Alonso playing a bad guy. I'm sorry, I don't remember the character's name, but does this dude, he plays... every role he's in, he plays a douchey character. I mean, like even in Avatar, he was kind of a dick until the end. I would like to see him in a movie to see if I can actually like him in a movie, because his characters, he's great at playing those kind of characters. I don't ever like him. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent here. This movie has an awesome ending. Dom gets caught and he's being sent to prison, which, if you guys remember from the first film, he says, "I'll die before I go back." Yeah, you like my Dom impression there? That was great. So, he's on the bus in his orange jumper and on his way to jail. But, look out. We've got some speeding cars coming up behind him. And it's Brian and Mia driving them. So right there, that's where the movie ends. So it totally makes you pumped up for the next film, because they're going to bust him out, obviously. Let's see. Number 3 on my list would be The Fast and the Furious. So it's the one that started it all, the original. I know I said it already, but who knew? Here's where we meet Brian and Letty and Dom and Mia for the first time. And it's, you get all their introductions and all their backstories and stuff. I really like this movie. The car chases and the stunts with the trucks and stuff are awesome. The only thing this movie is extremely similar to Point Break. You've got your undercover cop who starts to go native and falls in love with a woman on the other side. And, the so cool guy who, even though he's doing bad things, you still want him to succeed. The skeptical friend who turns out to be right about the cop. Utah, get me too. It was just really similar. But I mean, still, it's a fun movie, and it's the start of something awesome, in my opinion. Okay, number 2 is Furious 6. This is the most recent film, and it's also the last one that Justin Lin directs. James Wan, the director of The Conjuring and the 2 Insidious movies, will be directing the 7th movie. It's also the last film that Paul Walker is fully a part of, so it's a little bittersweet there. It's also the most over the top of the series. The tagline for this film should just be "suspension of disbelief." But, that being said, this movie is so freaking fun. It's like Fast and Furious greatest hits. You get these fantastic characters from all the other films, and this time Letty gets thrown back into the mix. Because if you remember, she was thought to be dead in the 4th film. And then besides some great car chases, there's also some really, really good hand-to-hand fight scenes in this movie. And it pokes a lot of fun at itself, and in large part takes place in Europe. I think most of the other films primarily took place in the Americas, North and South America. But yeah, I had such a good time watching this movie in the movie theater. Everybody was clapping and laughing and stuff. It was great. I loved it. If it weren't for the end scene of this movie, this would be a perfect wrap up to the series. Everybody gets back to LA. Dom gets his old house back. Everybody's rich and reunited. Well, except for poor Giselle, rest in peace. And Hobbs and Toretto make peace. And while Letty doesn't actually get her memory back, she knows she's where she belongs. And then, all that being said, the ending. Oh my God. When the end scene started and that little text came up and said that it was taking place in Tokyo, I pretty much jumped out of my skin because, I had been waiting for them to better tie in Tokyo Drift to the timeline. Because before, we just knew that it was some inevitable future, but we had no idea when. But now, we get to see what the real deal is. And it turns out Shaw, the bad guy of this film, has a brother who is pretty PO'd about Toretto and co. upsetting his apple cart and killing his brother. And it just so happens that this brother is none other than the transporter himself, Jason Statham. Oh my God. Which means, listeners, not only is Mr. Statham going to be the villain of the next film, but we're also probably in store for a Statham rock showdown. I don't know about you, but that makes me want to do backflips all the way into the theater. So psyched. So yeah, that was a really good one. But I had a little bit of trouble picking my top 2 movies. But saving the best for last. For me, number 1 would be 2011's Fast 5. This one takes place immediately after the 4th film with, you got your 2 lovebirds busting Dom out of the prison bus. And it's also the first movie that starts a tradition of bringing back old favorites from previous episodes. Previous movies. We also get Giselle and Hans starting to fall in love, and also the introduction of The Rock's doozy of a character, Hobbs, and sweet baby Jesus. We also get that totally crazy, masculine and pure testosterone fistfight between Hobbs and Toretto. Oh, girl, I had to turn the freaking fan on watching that scene. Whew, goodness. I love this one. It's got the best of everything in it. And the whole finale with dragging that big ass bank safe around Rio is just crazy. And all the cop cars are chasing them and stuff. And then they dupe everyone into thinking that they left it on the bridge. But in actuality, that's just the copy, and the real safe with the hundreds and millions and thousands of dollars is back at their headquarters. And so our faithful crew all go their separate ways with their portions of the money in a montage with that Don Omar song that I love. And that's it. Everyone, well, with the exception of Vince, I guess, gets a happy ending. But wait a tick. We discover in the post-credit scene that Letty, the love of Dom's life, is alive and well. And so that means we're going to get a 6th movie. Hell yeah. So there you have it. That's the Fast and Furious series, all wrapped up in a quick little podcast. If you haven't seen these movies, well, I don't know what you're doing listening to a spoilerific podcast about them, but you should go check them out. And if like me, you've already seen them all, they're worth a repeat viewing. They're lots of fun with lots of cool cars and lots of hot guys and girls driving them. So yeah, check them out. That's my opinion on the Fast and Furious series, 1 through 6. So if you guys, if you have any feedback, if you want to debate this list that I've got going, I'd love to hear what you guys think, or what's your favorite movie out of the series. Let me know. You can send me an email at damselsinDebate@gmail.com, or you can post a comment on this podcast on our webpage, or website, I should say, damselsinDebate.com. You can do the same thing on Facebook or Twitter, give us a shout out that way. Anyway, we'll see you regardless of wherever you decide to comment. And you can also listen to this podcast and subscribe and rate and review us on Stitcher and on iTunes. We have our most recent episodes up on there. So yeah, come check us out, give us some feedback. I know there are lots of different movie series, but if you guys have one that you are really adamant that I should check out, let me know. And yes, that's our Dorks and Debate episode for this week or month or wherever we're in. And it's the Fast and Furious series. So yeah, have a good week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.